in the 5th chapter, 5th parak, on the 23rd Mishnah, 523. Yehuda ben Tema, which is Torah, Yira, Mitzvahs, and Ahava. Right? Torah.
That's not his name?
What is?
But that's also a very...
It's an acronym.
Okay.
Torah, Yira, Mitzvahs, and Ahava. There's a couple commentaries that talk about the nature of his father's name and how that fits into the world. Yehuda ben Tema says, but we don't have time for that in the 9-minute version. Yehuda ben Tema says, Chave az kanemar. You should be brazen, bold, courageous, arrogant. Az kanemar, kanamer, which is a leopard. And, we don't see that many leopards, so I can't tell you it's true or not true. But remember, this is the old days when they still had wild animals living there.
Yeah.
And supposedly, a lion kills its prey, takes a bite, walks away. A wolf kills its prey, rips off what it can, runs away. Right? That a leopard stands its ground. That there's a boldness. That a leopard will go after bigger things, braver things, harder things. That a leopard is. Right? The cheetah is swift, but the leopard has. In Spanish they call this. The leopard's bold. Probably have to excise that.
Yeah.
Chave az kanamer. You should be bold like a leopard. Vakal kanesher, and you should be light, right? Like an eagle. You should be ratz kitzvi, run like a deer, swift as a deer. V'gibor ka'ari, and you should be strong as a lion. Right? Not always, but la'asot ratzon avicha sheba shamayim, in order to do the will of God that's in heaven. Because it's not always good to be brazen, to be chutzpahdik, right? It's not always a good thing to be frivolous, to be light. Kal, you see each of these things in other places is used, right, as an insult almost. We saw a previous Mishnah that says, kal v'rosh, the person who's, don't be light-headed, don't be frivolous. But here it says be light. So what's it mean? What's me? Okay. There's lots of different allegorical descriptions of how this fits the 4 aspects of the service of God. This is 4 ways of confronting the Yetzer Hara. It's 4 ways of seeing Torah. There's a lot of different versions of how you walk through what the metaphorical and allegorical meaning of each of the 4. So Oz, bold, right? So you can understand why you need to be bold. Bold is the opposite of shy. It's the opposite of retreating. It's the opposite of giving. That sometimes it takes courage to serve Hashem. That the outside world doesn't always understand what you're doing. Your family doesn't always understand what you're doing. Your boss doesn't necessarily understand what you're doing. Your friends may see things a different way. Right? There's a famous line at the end of the very first Harry Potter book. Right? And he says, where Dumbledore, the Rosh Hashiva says, it takes courage to stand up to your enemies. Sometimes it takes more courage to stand up to your friends. Right? That it's easy to slip into doing the wrong thing. It's easy to give in and take the easy way out, right? People don't always appreciate when you want to do a mitzvah. That's when often you find the people who oppose you the most are the mitzvah people, because that's not the way they would do it. Why do you have to be so strict? Why do you have to be so frum? Why do you have to be so sensitive? Why do you have to be? Right? It's like, come on, lighten up, right? The question is, do you have the courage of your convictions? Right? So this first is this idea of Oz, of being bold, is a place where there is social opposition to service of God. That there are many people, and in many places all of us, fail to serve God because we didn't have the courage to speak up. We just did, we're about to do Lech Lecha. So I was at a shul, a Shabbos, and listening to laning. And in the Chumash, in Lech Lecha, Avram is called Avram. The person laning kept reading it as Avraham. Now, I don't know. Is that a correctable offense? Is it not a correctable offense? Is that one of the things you're supposed to change? Is it one of the things you're not supposed to change? Are you allowed to say Avram? I mean, I was close to him. I wasn't the gabbai standing at the side, but I sit a foot away and listening to him say it. Did not have the strength of my convictions or the courage to quickly walk up to the Rav and say, is he allowed to say Avram? Is he doing it right? Is he doing it wrong? Is it right? There's a level of fear. You know, when I first became frum, I didn't want to go daven in a shul because I was afraid I'd walk in, they'd see I was an imposter. Right? Fortunately, I sat down and, 30 years later, here you are. Right? But it's hard to do the right thing. And one of the issues is that people are shy. They're afraid, they're timid. That it sometimes takes courage to just step up and do what you have to do. So to serve God, you've got to be bold. You've got to grab truth, take a bite with both feet, stand there and look at anybody and say, take it if you can. But I'm not changing. Cover your territory. That's bold. So light is an eagle. So kal is, again, it's kal rosh. It's an insult. It's like, how can you be light? So the Maharal says light means that you're not bound, right? You just stand up swiftly, energetically, no inertia, right? That you have to be able to get away from where you are. That, it's interesting, we said we're talking Lech Lecha, so what does Hashem say to Avram? He says, Lech Lecha me'artzecha, right? You have to leave your land, you have to leave your people, you have to leave your father's house, you have to leave the land that you know. Right? You have to get up and leave behind. He says, leave your culture. Right? Leave the way you've been looking at the world. Leave your whole approach to life. Leave your own home. Leave everything. Something to serve Hashem, you have to be willing to get up and leave. That an eagle has the ability to break bounds. Right? I mean, think about it. I mean, theoretically, it's impossible to fly. Right? Take the eagle, wrap him up in duct tape, and throw him off a cliff, and he's not going to fly. I mean, it's like he is heavier than air. But he understands that he's built to have lift. And if he drives himself forward, he aims, and he can, right, that he has the ability to pick himself, in order to succeed, right, to meet what he's capable of, he has the ability to physically separate himself from the world of land and pick himself up and fly. Right, to get away from it. So we have the same thing. That for us, this is my habit. Right, I am accustomed to doing it this way. Right, this is what I am capable of. This is the way I've always done it. This is the way the people around me do it. Right, I can't get there from here. I'm not capable of that. It's beyond me. He says, be an eagle. And an eagle is kal. He's light. He's not bound down. He's got no inertia. Right? You have to be willing to kind of break the bonds of what's expected, of what everybody else is willing to do, or what you think you can do, and fly away. That's an eagle. Right? It's courage. This is a separate piece. Right? And again, it's a bravery. I mean, it's a strength. It's a bravery. But it's the willingness to separate yourself from what you were 10 minutes ago or yesterday to be something grander, to break free. That's an eagle. Swift as a deer, Ratz kitzvi, run like a deer. Right? The deer goes from 0 to 60. I mean, a deer just goes boom, and it flies. And you watch these cool, National Geographic specials, and it's just standing there, and there's a nose, and it's boom. Right? It's not. That is really, really a great idea. Let's get a committee together. You know what? That really is an important concept. I'll work on it tomorrow. Right? That's Tzvi. Boom. and it's moving, and it's lightning fast, right? And it's not a cheetah. It's not a cheetah. Is sustained speed. A deer is it's boom. It's instant. It runs, and wherever it's got to get to, it flies. All right, that you can call this again. It's the inertia model, but it's a different approach to inertia. Right? The problem of the eagle is I'm landbound. I can't go anywhere. The problem that the tzvi overcomes is I'm just lazy. I get to it. It's an interesting idea. I'll change next week. Eventually I can grow into that. Right? There's very few people, you see an idea and you say, I'm on it now. Right? I hear it and I'm on it now. Run. Run. If you have an opportunity to grow, to change, to do something good for someone, to do a mitzvah, to serve God, go. Quickly. Just get to it. Right? There's no time like now, not now, when. Right? So you have to have the courage to withstand social pressure. You have to have the courage, right? The brazenness that even if you're opposed, to do what's right. You have to be calm, light. You have to be willing to separate yourself from where you are and rise above expectations. And rot. So you have to have energy. You have to have spirit. You have to be willing to do it now. Just do it. Right? Quickly. Move. Go for it. Don't just, Dad, I'll come down in 20 minutes or in an hour or next Thursday. Or the mitzvah's gone. The opportunity's gone. It's fleeting. Right? And then the last is to be strong like an Ari. Right? A lion. So everything we do as human beings, what makes us human, is the struggle of will versus body, will versus drive. My body feels like lying in bed for another hour, and my will is I need to get up and wake everybody up and drive in the carpool and get to Minion. Right? My body is I don't do it. Right? I'm tired. I'm lazy. It's a lot of all these things you see in the mitzvah system are tools to help your will overcome your drive. I feel like cheating, but I know I shouldn't. I feel like eating it, but I know I shouldn't. I don't feel like giving my money, but I know I should. I don't feel like getting, whatever it is, it's this constant struggle. So it's not the same thing as brazenness. Right? Brazenness is, that courage is there's opposition to what I choose to do. This is more of an internal struggle. That's what it says, right? When it uses here, Gibor Ka'ari. Right? What did we see in the fourth parak? Where does it use the word Gibor? Ezohu Gibor, who is strong. Right? Hakovesh et Yitzra. A person has the ability to subdue and control and shape his own drive. That Gibor, the strength here is an internal strength. That's in some ways why I like the concept of endurance sports. Right? Endurance sports are my body says get off the bike and lie down on the asphalt and take a nap now, you're done. Right? And my will says, no, I'm not done, I'll keep pedaling. Right? Part of this whole cancer nonsense is your body says go home and lie down, and your will says, no, that's not what I'm doing now. And can you push through? To serve God, you have to be willing. It's not always easy. It's not always physically simple. Right? You're going to have lots of things. You're going to look at it and say, that looks shiny, I want it. That looks tasty, I want it. That looks pretty, I want it. Just because you want it doesn't mean you can have it. You have to have a strength, a courage of moral conviction to do what's right. I feel like telling you what I think of you. I know that that's inappropriate. Right? Right? I feel like telling you what I think of her, but I know it's inappropriate. Do you have the strength to do what's proper? Right? So those are the four. It says you have to have courage to withstand social pressure, to do what's right, to choose to do what's right because you know it's right. You have to be calm, willing to break away from the inertia and the bounds of where you started. You have to be swift. Recognize that if you're not going to do it now, the fact that you will be moral and upstanding tomorrow doesn't mean a lot. The question is, are you moral and upstanding now? And the last is when you face the internal struggle, do you have strength? Are you a creature of will, or you're a creature of body. Right? That's why the Yetzer Hara is called a drive for death. The Yetzer Tov is a drive for life. Right? Are you a creature of life and choice, or you're a creature of inertia and death? So that's our Mishnah.